Zelda Breath of the Wild was released, we didn't know much about the Sheikah. All we really knew was a few past events involving wars and straight up mystery concerning the tribe. But with Breath of the Wild finally out, we get to learn more about the mysterious shadow folk, and this is where we will discuss the lore behind the Sheikah. It turns out the Sheikah are among some of the oldest races in the Zelda chronology, predating to the events prior to Skyward Sword. Allegedly, even during this archaic period, they were too technologically literate, serving primarily as the guardians of goddess Hylia. The Sheikah were tasked to carry out the entity's wishes, and this extends to the events in Skyward Sword, in which the essence of Hylia transformed into the line of the many Zeldas we would see. Originally, the primary task of the Sheikah is to serve Hylia, but with the conversion into the royal bloodline, the Sheikah opted to serve the Hylians, and this led to the foundation of the kingdom. However, prior to this period, it is theorized that the Interloper War occurred, in which a schism between the Sheikah transpired. These interlopers wielding an artifact known as the Fused Shadow made great strides during the war, and considering that the Sheikah eye symbol is on this item, we can infer that it is at least Sheikah affiliated. However, during this event the goddesses intervened during this conflict, and thus exiled the interlopers to the Twilight Realm. And with time, the Kingdom of Hyrule was established, and all seemed to be well. However, something infinitely darker would transpire in the ages to come, the Hyrulean Civil War. Honestly speaking, we don't know much about the topic. All we do know is that all of Hyrule was united under the rule of the Kingdom of Hyrule. In addition, for whatever reason the Sheikah disappeared. For what reason exactly, we're not sure. But a clue lays in the Shadow Temple. Here is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred. Now, the Shadow Temple is connected with a nearby bottom of the well, where the entity known as Bongo Bongo was sealed by Impa, Zelda's attendant. And since it is theorized that Bongo was indeed a Sheikah, and the fact that Kakariko village in Ocarina used to be a Sheikah village that was turned Hylian, along with many corpses found in both the bottom of the well and the Shadow Temple, this has led us to believe that during the Civil War, a large amount of the Sheikah died, thus leaving Kakariko virtually empty, paving the way for it to be opened to the Hylians. Which would make sense, as in Ocarina of Time the village was being rebuilt by carpenters, thus alluding that the bottom of the well was used as a sewer system for the previous Kakariko that was destroyed. Now, after this we didn't really get to know much about the Sheikah, well aside from Twilight Princess. The beings known as the Twilight are speculated to be the descendants of the exiled Sheikah, or the interlopers during the previous war, considering that the eye symbol was seen on the throne room in their palace, in addition to the Sheikah symbol on the Fused Shadow. However, at the end of Twilight Princess, Midna, the leader of the Twilight, severed the link between both the Twilight Realm and Hyrule, making sure that the two would never again interact. But why would she do this? And this is where we come full circle back to Breath of the Wild, in which we see the Sheikah tribe back in full force. However, 10,000 years before the events of the game, the Sheikah were involved with the Hylians to defeat Calamity Ganon. During this time, the Sheikah were incredibly advanced in terms of technology. However, once Ganon was dealt with, the Kingdom of Hyrule was wary of the Sheikah's growing dominance. As a result, the kingdom exiled the Sheikah, thus causing the tribe to be alienated from their advanced tech. However, this event did not sit too well with some Sheikah members, as a sect of their tribe revolted against the kingdom. These defectors are known as the Yiga clan, and over the course of the game would fight against the Hylians. Come to think of it, doesn't it sound like history keeps repeating itself in the Zelda franchise? Especially when it comes to the Sheikah, with them continuously being fractured or killed off, resulting later in a rebellion or a retaliation. This may have happened during the Interloper War, the Civil War, the Twilight Invasion, and finally the Yiga defection. So what does this tell us? Well, for one, a stable Sheikah tribe seems to be an impossibility. Where exactly the Sheikah will go after Breath of the Wild is a mystery, but it is certainly something the Chamber of Sages will cover in the future. So what do you guys think of this new series in the Chamber? Zelda Lore is made to primarily go over the lore bits found in the Zelda franchise. So did you like it, dislike it? Let us know. Who is this disembodied voice? I am Jack from McIntyre, and I just had the opportunity to voice for this channel. I hope you liked our work here, so with that being said, we have to be heading out now. Have a wonderful rest of the day or night, and take care.